Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are watching this LinkedIn Live from. First of all, my sincere apologies for the technical glitch. So we are starting the LinkedIn Live 5 minutes late, and thanks for being patient. We now have got our fifth person. So as you can see, we are all together. This is first time doing a LinkedIn Live with five people, including myself. So hopefully everything goes smooth. First of all, my name is Naishad Gadani, and I'm the founder of not LinkedIn Live, but Your Career Down Under. And I'm originally from Melbourne, but currently I'm in India. And we have people from all across Australia joining me for the LinkedIn Live. Now, why am I doing LinkedIn Live in these unprecedented times? Is because it is unprecedented times. And we believe that the job seekers or professionals need more guidance and support and understanding of how to navigate the market and what they can do in these unprecedented times. So that's the idea. There is no idea of me we telling you anything else, but just provide you pure raw guidance. And none of us, except at least I can say for myself that I've got all the answers in this time. And I want you to listen to the experts that we are bringing to you guys every day. So first and foremost, everyone has met Caroline Brown. She is the founder of Interview IQ. We are absolutely thrilled to have three recruitment experts who are going to shed some light on the recruitment trends and the employment market trends in this pressing time. So we got Akansh Prasai, he's from Talent Crowd. We got Sanaya Krishnan, she is from the Fusion Graduate Consultancy, and we got Declan Kluwer, who is from Blended Employment. If you guys can just introduce yourself to everyone so that everyone knows your background, and then we will kick off the discussion.
Sure. Do you want me to introduce
Yep,
myself?
Caroline.
Yeah,
Please,
Caroline.
Sure. Okay, sorry. Go around the circle. So my name's Carolyn Brown. I'm the founder of Interview IQ, and for the last 10 years or so, I've been working with senior professionals and executives, helping them find jobs from the point of view of developing LinkedIn profiles, job search strategies, resumes, and interview coaching. So that's a little snapshot of me.
Hey everyone, so my name's Akansh Prasai, so I'm the founder of Talent Crowd. So been in the recruitment space for about probably 15 years now, and predominantly with a focus on technology recruitment. Even within technology, we have niche areas that we work on, mainly around SAP and SuccessFactors or ERP technologies. That's where we are. We've got a small kind of distributed teams across Australia, Singapore, Philippines, and India. So we have a very different operating model at the moment, which kind of works for everyone.
Hey guys, I'm not sure if you can hear me or not, but my name's Declan from Blended Employment, and we started our people's company 18 months ago, and we specialise a lot within sales and marketing positions, which have been affected quite heavily of recent times.
Hi, Sanaya. Hi, everyone. Sanaya here. I'm the founder of Ignite Grad, and I also partner with Fusion Graduate Consultancy. So I specifically focus on early talent. So for graduate programs, setting them up for corporates. But through Ignite Grad, I also support and coach privately students at universities all around the globe, actually, and also support universities through some digital courses as well. So I can probably talk from a perspective of what's going on in the graduate space currently in the market. So that's me.
Excellent. All right. So now, first and foremost, we all come from different parts of the world. Right now, I'm stuck in India, lockdown in India for next 3 weeks. Caroline is in East Gippsland. Gippsland. Snaya is in Melbourne. We have got Declan, who is in Brisbane, and we have got Akansh, who is working in his courtyard in Sydney. I think there's some echo coming.
Yeah, there is. Yes, I can actually still hear Sanaya going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Hopefully everything's fine. Don't worry. I've chosen the robust platform, so hopefully it will work. Now, before we start, I think it is very important for us to acknowledge the unprecedented times that we are in, and it is impacting our lives and our jobs and everything in an unimaginable way. I don't think so that none of us can really see, how it will impact or how tomorrow will be. Yesterday, we were planning to go back to. Before we start, I think it is very important. I think there's still some echo on the unprecedented times that. Okay. What I've done is I've unmuted everyone, muted everyone else. So hopefully, and then we will come back to you. I still get echo. How it will impact or how tomorrow will be. Yesterday, we were planning to go back. Hopefully that should work. All right. So so we find ourselves in an absolute unprecedented times, and we definitely want to think about those people who are a bit more struggling than us. I think there's an impact on our business, but the purpose of this is probably to give people an idea or some inspiration, insights, and some guidance to those people who are struggling. So if I can probably just open up discussion around how, first and foremost, how the business is impacting you personally, and see what do you see in the employment market. Because except me and Caroline, Akansh, Declan, and Sanaya, you do talk to employers frequently, or the employers are telling you a few things, might be bits and pieces of information. So if you can start with Akansh, if you can sort of tell us, and you are into IT recruitment, which is pretty hot topic for many people, and many people who have lost jobs in IT. I know one of my clients started job on last Monday, and Thursday he was told to go home, which is pretty sort of depressing thing for someone. So if you can give us some idea, Kansh, on the employment market in IT.
Absolutely, Nishad. Thank you. So just to give you a kind of a basic idea, right? Within technology, it is hard. There's two aspects to it. So one is the current projects, or that are going on within a business, which is mostly business as usual, and the second one, planned projects. Now, a lot of recruitment that we do with our clients, and I talk to them every day around this, is now the planned projects have mostly been put on hold, where we as a business have taken a massive hit as well. We had a number of offers going out. We had a number of projects that were planned to start. In fact, February, March, April, which have mostly all gone on hold now. And this is where a lot of people, kind of even contractors and even permanent staff, they seem to be losing their jobs and those opportunities. This is all obviously very new to everyone. It's not something anyone had thought or planned for. So the businesses are now trying to slowly realize what's the best way to manage the situation, and it's more about keeping the business afloat and keeping the business running, whereas giving virtual VPN accesses for people working from home. Now, you may realize there's some very critical data information as well that you can't take out of you can't access from outside the office premises. So those are the things from a security perspective. That's a big challenge at the moment. So there are still opportunities out there. Businesses are just trying to warm up to the situation now, understand obviously the gravity of it. Everything's are changing on a daily basis. We've got new things happening now. We had a massive project that was supposed to start in New Zealand, and we had even planned for people to travel to New Zealand and stay in isolation for 14 days and then start the project. But now New Zealand has completely shut their borders. So things are changing every day now. So that's obviously taken a big hit. But there are still some opportunities that's still going on, and like I said, businesses are coming to the idea that yes, okay, what's the work around it now? So let's ramp up our security servers. Let's get people working from home and things like that. Yes, a lot of people have lost their jobs and kind of are looking out for new opportunities now, which is very sad. But also, hopefully, we don't know how long this is going to last. But at the moment, talking to all the businesses now, and some of the big businesses that we work with as well, multinationals and large global corporations that we talk to every day. In fact, just before this, I had a conference call with the whole entire team globally, and the plan is in the next 8 weeks' time, they will have all their technology sorted so people can actually start working remotely. So business has to kind of go on. We have to find a work around it. It's kind of caught us,
off guard.
off guard, and so now people are trying to slowly realize what's the best way to work around it, and that's where I also feel like, from a job seeker's perspective, yes, it is a challenging market, but it's also an opportunity for you to start putting up your kind of doubling down on networking skills, right? Even if it's, although not like live networks or meeting people in person now, it's more of a virtual networking. But there are people now, more platforms like us networking today. There's a lot happening more now. So focus on that, stay active. There are people over here like yourself, like Carolyn, who are out there helping people create a better LinkedIn profile, so that you have better engagement with people, better chances of getting that opportunity. So this is the right time to reach out to them and keep in touch with everyone, even if it's just a small message saying, hey there, look, how are you guys doing? How's things going? Like, I've received a number of messages since this happened from candidates just asking me, just want to touch base with you. How's things going on? That way you'll still kind of keep in touch with each other. And obviously we're all on the same boat, same situation. We're all going through this together. So even if I come across any other opportunity which is not within my core skill set, I try and share that with my network and share it across with everyone, so that whoever else is out there who might benefit from that message or from that opportunity would at least be able to do so. So it's just about supporting everyone, guys. We're all kind of in this situation, very new to this environment. Even a lot of people working from home as well. Now some of the people, they feel that's a challenge working from home, including myself. Now that my missus has started working from home, and I'm thinking, whether Corona kills us or not, we're going to kill each other in a few days, But it's all new to us, right? So, but we're trying to adjust, and we're trying to make the best of the situation, and we all got to stay positive. That's what it is. But yes, it is slow. Everyone's taking a hit, but it doesn't mean there's no opportunities out there. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. So I would say just stay positive, keep active, and just reach out to as many people as you can.
That's really great advice. If you go to Sanaya, because you primarily work with people who are entering in the career, and graduate roles. Obviously that first few things that happens when the hiring global financial crisis even hit the market is that they stop non-essential things, and sometimes graduate program takes a big hit for them, because they would say, you know what, we can train graduates. If I don't hire 50 graduates this year, it's not going to impact my business. Let me put in the money where it's most essential, right? And I'm pretty sure that the graduates will be feeling the heat right now, that what will happen, because they will also be facing competition with people who are losing the job and entering into the market. So what are you observing, and what employers have been telling you?
Yeah. So interestingly, thus far, it's actually been very positive from an employer perspective. So all of my clients up till yesterday are all continuing their process within the graduate recruitment right now. So majority of Australian organisations opened applications within the last month. And for those online, you would have probably seen in this last week alone, I have seen about 15 different graduate programs open online.
Oh, wow.
Open applications. And so it's a positive sign for graduates, of course. Sorry, I've got a
That's all right. No problem at all.
The pros and cons of working at home all the time now. So in terms of what people are doing, they're trying to stick to their timelines. All my clients are trying to stick to their timelines. What you'll see the change is, instead of, let's say, face-to-face assessment centres, of course, we're creating digital options for them. So we're thinking digital assessment centres, obviously all the interviews will be digital, and really that's going to be the major change. Everything else, for the most part, all the psychometric online testing, video interviews were already digital for majority of graduate employers. So the change is small. The difference is, things like face-to-face events, careers fairs and engagements have obviously disappeared. But, a lot of universities are now doing online careers fairs. So I'm saying to the graduates around me, and I speak to graduates a lot on LinkedIn, don't, just because a face-to-face activity has dropped away doesn't mean that there's not other opportunities to engage. And there are so many, even just on LinkedIn alone. So I think just stay positive on the graduate front. I've only seen one corporate cancel their graduate program for this year, with the hope to probably bring it back at the end of the year. Everyone else is saying, let's push through and make this happen.
Yeah. But that's really positive, because because the graduates would probably be more concerned, and because of their lack of experience, body of experience. Also, they are they don't want to miss the boat, for some of the big corporate graduate programs. Caroline, if I can, because you started to bring a list of resource for many job seekers, what's happening, who's hiring, who's not hiring, and give that. So obviously, have you seen kind of an increase in that resource list over a period of time, just period of last 3-4 days?
The way I've been compiling it is just really doing news searches and media searches, because the media is actually publicising where jobs are being created. And there is a lot of immediate jobs. So, the supermarkets, the telehealth, the delivery, big boom in online delivery. Not like all of the universities and all of the schools are scrambling to get things up online for people. Pharmaceutical companies, immediate need for call centres, in terms of like Telstra has announced, I think 1,000 positions, because their Philippines call centre, is inoperable. So there's, but also the slightly longer term. So Telstra brought forward, I think, like a 500 million capital investment into building this network, because we're going to see huge demands on that. So there are jobs immediately. I guess the real challenge, and something that would be great to talk to you guys about, is in this really crowded market, how do people make themselves stand out and as an applicant? Because what I think is coming through really strongly is the flood of people that have suddenly see the writing on the wall and start to do a bit of a spray and pray type approach. But they're the jobs. The immediate sort of frontline into this crisis, manage this crisis type jobs are available, but short-term and contract. So I think the longer term is around sort of the IT, the digital enablement, the security, that type of thing I see. But I don't have I haven't seen anybody sort of talk beyond this stage, because I think everybody's in management stage basically.
Akansh, if I can, because you made a good point around the corporates or the companies want to keep business as usual, and they will probably require still skills to be able to do that. I think one of the thing that as a recruiter, when you view someone's resume, let's say I'm not a nerd, but let's say somebody who's done a testing role, and now pretty sure that a lot of people who come from testing background some people are also able to do project management work, or they're also able to do the kind of business analyst kind of roles.
Right.
So would, in these circumstances, usually if this is not happening, then recruiters won't view that favorably. But now in these circumstances, would they still see them favorably, and how do they really then kind of, because their LinkedIn profile will say something, and then they are applying for different roles. Would recruiters be more lenient towards them, or they will still have the same? Yeah,
That's a very good question, Nishad, and
yeah,
and that's exactly one of the conversations that I was having previously as well.
yeah.
Very, very good point. Yes, previously, obviously, working on a very niche technology space, we predominantly used to look at whether this person is capable, highly experienced in that area, can do the job or not, has certain certifications. The level of expertise was pretty high, or experience required was pretty high. However, considering the current situation and market, what has also changed is, number one, rather than getting on a lot of permanent staff, because businesses want to continue running their businesses and still make sure it still happens. I've seen a kind of a switch from the preference from permanent to more contractors now. Clients are now more flexible. They're more open. They're like, yep, let's get a contractor on board for 6 months or 12 months. That way they're not committing to a full-time permanent job, but they can still get the job done. So even short-term contracts, 3 months contracts, project-based roles, right? And from coming to a skill-wise, you're absolutely right. So they are actually now considering, and it's also up to the kind of recruiter that you work with, right? If you have a really good relationship with a recruiter, if the recruiter also at the same time has a good relationship with a client and understands what they're trying to achieve and what they're trying to deliver, they can really bridge that gap. For example, today we had about 7 candidates that we presented to a client, and we were, just before this, we were going through that entire list of skill set and kind of the match with the client and the requirements, right? And some of them did not have certifications, some of were not at that level. However, they were quite flexible, and I was actually able to convince them that these people are still very highly capable of delivering to your current requirement. Right. So you may be looking at a senior solution architect level guy, whereas or a project manager, for example, but some people may have a stronger business analysis or a PMO capacity or that experience, and can easily, they have the basic principles, right? They have the core skill set is there. It's just a different application, different tool. Even for that matter, someone looking at let's say SuccessFactors, which is one of the HCM tools. We had a very strong candidate who's not worked on SuccessFactors, but has done exactly the same thing in a different environment, in a different platform, which is Workday. So we were actually able to convince the client that in this market, where also we still struggle to find the right people, these guys are still very highly capable of delivering to your requirements. They probably just need a week or two to get up to speed. So we do see that, yes, that's like you said, Nishad, yes, they are now more open to that, having that dialogue and considering those candidates as well, which is definitely a positive. So for candidates looking for job seekers or candidates looking for new opportunities, have a chat rather than just applying to those jobs, which may seem like, oh no, it's not your core area. Try to have a conversation with the recruiter, with the hiring manager, reach out to them and just say, hey, look, I can pretty well get this job done. You have to, like Carolyn said, that you really have to kind of stand out now. And if you survive this, if you really push yourself, sorry, I've had a bug walking on my toe, so yeah. But if you really push yourself, after this sooner or later this will end. But if you've been through this difficult situation, if you manage that, after this it's going to be a walk in the park for you, right? But this is also an opportunity for you to really build your profile, reach out to those people. Also don't just think about, if I'm a senior project manager, that's the only role I'm going to target. Even look at, like Carolyn mentioned, there's a lot of jobs out there, opportunities out there in different fields, different areas. It's more about everyone's got to pay their bills. Everyone, has expenses. They've got to look after their family. Put that ego aside. Like just have a look at something else, which may be a bit junior to what you're doing, but at least it'll keep the bills kind of paid. It'll keep you going. And take up short-term, long-term contracts at the moment. Be flexible. Now, organizations are being flexible, and so do you as well. You need to show that flexibility. That's just my thought, Nishad.
Yeah, excellent. So, Sanaya, because one thing that you mentioned earlier about the changes in the way the the corporates will now run their assessment centers and everything. What are some of your understanding? Are they completely taking the personal interview completely out, you think? And it will be converted into a Skype or a Zoom kind of interviews? And because one aspect, I've not applied for any graduate roles in Australia, but they also run group activities, right? I think to understand how people really interact with each other, who takes the lead in it and
Yep.
everything. Do you think that that will probably change in these circumstances?
So just in the last week, one of our
Yeah.
large clients is a global client, and they had assessment centres this and last week throughout Asia, Australia
Okay.
later in the month. So we did everything digital for them.
Mm.
So what we did was, it's imperative to not remove a group activity. And as we can see in this moment globally that we live in, we are living digital. We are doing
Yeah.
group activities online. So there's no reason to preclude those from
Sure.
recruitment activities. So the way we set it up was essentially smaller groups. So instead of doing 20 or something like that in assessment centre, we did 4. And so, we had 24 people come together. We use Zoom for it. There's so many platforms to use, but Zoom has a great functionality where you can get everyone together at the start, and then you can actually split them out into what we call classrooms. So then we split out 4 graduates with 1 assessor in one room and so on, and we split out the 24. We did a group activity, and then there was a case study presentation. So the candidates actually got a case study sent to them 24 hours prior to do the research, etc., for the purpose of time, and then they presented as well live online. And then that followed with a short face-to-face interview, just a one-to-one. So actually, surprisingly, it worked really well. We were able to get really good insights into how people engage with each other in a group scenario. And, minus the human interaction, which is usually what most humans desire and crave for, especially during recruitment activities, we're actually able to measure all the competencies. We're able to see everyone's ability to interact and or their lack of, regardless of the medium. So I think the message to really graduates, candidates, is just thinking about being adaptable, and that, companies are just as freaking out as much as you are in this new scenario. Everyone's going through the same time together, and for most of the time, we're coming in like we came in for a client last week. We're coming in pretty blind. We haven't trialed it before. For the next ones we will have, but we're coming in blind, doing it like in the moment with you. There is planning, but everyone's doing it. Everyone's just as muddled through the waters as each other, be the company or the applicant. So I think to keep that in mind helps. It helps the applicants to just feel a bit more positive and a bit more secure about the scenario as well.
Agree. So based on what Akansh said around the idea of that you should sort of project yourself around different roles if that works out. Caroline, if I can ask you about because obviously the standard resumes that what we usually see are more reverse chronological resumes, and probably it is the time for you to think about more skills focused resumes, isn't it, where you can talk about the skills that you have developed in a particular role and how those skills are applicable into new roles. If you can give people an idea of what how to really sort of what are key components around drafting that kind of a resume which highlights skills.
I think you've got to think about every position individually, right? So that would be the first thing. A generic resume doesn't really cut it. But I think you've got and to Akansh's point around, if you're a project manager, you could probably be a BA. If you're BA, you've done testing and so forth. So there's the one thing that you've done recently, but then there's a group of jobs around that are definitely connected and related, and you could either step up or step down. So look at the requirements of the role and make sure on that front page you've got I tend to put, 3 or 4 solid examples demonstrating your capability for that. So they're sort of like mini achievement statements. And so if you were going for, using a practical example, like a project management role, and you've been a program manager, so you put, program manager and the projects, so the capabilities that relate to that role. Or if you're going for, you're a BA and you've done project management, you put BA and project management on the front page, really clear, with no guesswork, so people can see them really clearly, but really making sure that, it's very obvious on the front page. It's, what it is that you bring to the table for that specific role. You can have for example, my tactic would be with a recruiter, if they're advertising a role, build the resume around that. That's your entry point to having a discussion about what else you can do at that point in time. Yeah. Because with the volume, everybody, I assume, is, sifting through, making quick decisions based on relevant experience. So you've got to show that first of all. So, and then, building that relationship with the recruiter so you can explore out how you could adapt your skills to different roles. Because ironically, I think that the good people are staying put. My guess is people are staying put, but so that, you do need to be able to show how you can meet, those surrounding roles as well. So, it is that kind of challenge in the market.
Yeah. So Akansh, I understand that a lot of recruitment companies are still open, and they, then they've got capacity to make sure that the consultant work from home. So I think, the idea, although I've not, I'm out of Australia for 3 weeks now, but what I understand is that many people believe that lockdown means that there is not many people are working and we can't call them, we can't email them, and they'll be non-active on that. So if I'm a job seeker, if I'm in IT, I can still pick up a phone call and talk to people, isn't it? Or
absolutely, Chad, absolutely. I think it's actually the other way around now, because now everyone's just working, my phone's ringing off the hook now, right? So it just, and the same thing, it's like my missus is on the phone as well the whole time, because otherwise you'd sit at your desk and be working, doing stuff. Now they're kind of collaborating more, and they're doing on videos or calls more, they're asking things. So, people would be more kind of in an acceptable place to answer your calls now. So if you're a job seeker, do not hesitate to pick up that phone and call your recruiter. If you see a job advert from myself or any other recruiter for that matter, and then there's a phone number there to contact us, pick up the phone and call us. Seriously, and have a chat, even probably before you send your profile across. Just have a quick chat. Hey, look, I saw this thing. Is there, is the vacancy still on? I'm quite interested. I want to learn a little bit more about this. Have some questions ready, and you can probably then tailor your CV. Like Karen said, to that particular role. You may be able to be a business analyst, a PMO, a senior project manager, anything. But then once you have a good understanding of that particular requirement, you can then tailor your resume to that. So yes, on the flip side, we're actually more available to take calls and have a chat. And it's more, everyone's on the phone now, on their videos on Zoom. Obviously, it's a great platform, like Sanaya mentioned. We do that with our team, with our clients all day long. So it's a good way to kind of just look at each other and start working. Hey, kiddo. And but that's right. Yeah. See, now it's now such a normal thing now to have your pet and even your kids run around and do stuff. No problem. Everyone's quite acceptable. Everyone understands the situation. But that's right, and I completely agree with Carolyn. Having a broad first page, having a broad listing about your skill set is really good idea. That breaks it down to whether you're different areas that you can help, but also then talking to a recruiter and actually narrowing down your skill set or your expertise within a certain role is a great idea for that first point of entry. And we do the same as well. That kind of, as a recruiter, like I would straight away be interested if someone comes to me, with those exact skill set or very similar skill set that I'm looking for. And then when the discussion opens up, then I may be able to, hey, hang on, look, you may not be the right fit for this role, but you're actually a great fit for these ones. And that's how we've placed the candidates as well, and on a very different role to what they were doing, but they actually realized, oh yes, I could actually be a very good fit for that one. So completely agree with that. So just if you see a number, pick up the phone and call them. That's right. So business is still running. Yes, they're all, like Sanaya mentioned, we're all learning. It's all new to us, and we're all on the same boat. It's something, so that we're learning as we go. But yes, and it will take some time, probably about another 4 to 8 weeks time for people to find that this is a little bit normal now. Okay, let's go back to a normal routine, even though everyone might be working remotely.
That's right.
But business is still going on. Yes, new projects, they've taken a bit of a hit, but as for the businesses still going on, people are still working their way around. A lot of things, like I said, rather than taking on new permanent people, they're taking more contractors on now. And I'm really, really happy to hear. I really am really happy to hear Sanaya say that the graduates are, they're still kicking off with the graduate programs. That's absolutely brilliant, because then, a lot of people, recent graduates or new graduates looking for opportunities, they would feel like this kind of situation would be devastating for them, where nothing's happening. But I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that these are still moving forward. So hats off to the organizations; they're still taking that forward, and obviously hats off to you, Sanaya, for organizing all that and doing all the events online. If there's anything, I can probably share a few different tools, cost-effective tools. I did post that up a few days ago, that if you're working from home, these are some very good tools to work on. So I'll share that again. But that's really good.
Excellent. And also, just a word of caution: just because the recruiters are working from home doesn't mean you call them at 8 o'clock after you binge watch House of Cards, and they say, now I'm charged up as as I forgot the name of the main character, but I'm charged and now I can call the recruiter. So please avoid calling them after the business hours. But I think everyone would be willing to help.
Absolutely.
I've seen recruiters posting on that. Look, we will waive off some part of our commission if we are more than happy to provide some pro bono work. So I think this also brings some kindness from people, especially if they see that the other person is a bit worse off than himself or herself. I think they are far more open to help people. But my point is that don't hesitate to pick up a phone call and talk to people. They are absolutely fine to have a chat. So Sanaya, for graduates, obviously there might be some lead time before they even sort of start to look at the joining might be a little bit away, because of these circumstances. What are some of the things that you recommend the graduates, if people who are now looking at applying for new roles? And pardon my ignorance, I don't know when do companies advertise for grad roles, but what are some of the things that, in terms of preparatory work, that people can do, especially graduates, leading up to that right now? Because it's a downtime in a way for obvious reasons. So what are some of the things that the grads can do?
Yeah, sure. Now, I apologize for all of the 2-year-old background noise that could happen any second now. So, look, in general, most programs don't start till February of the year after application. So, for example, this year, the current recruitment process is now, but in Australia, for example, most grad programs don't start till Feb next year. So there's always that lag time. For the most part, anyone who's still studying will still be studying online. And unfortunately, for a lot of them in retail roles, etc., that might have it severely impacted them and their cash flow. So to answer your your question in two different ways. Firstly, look, as Carolyn said, there are a lot of new customer service call center roles. I know, yes, as the ex-Telstra employee, they're 100% backing all of their customer service roles and contact center roles. I know Coles, is inundated with roles, and they're actually going to universities directly, asking for support. We've actually had engage with us yesterday to do their graduate recruitment, because their graduate recruitment team is now managing recruitment for contact centres and stock and store staff, etc. So, there are a lot of new roles that will be coming up. I know the Prime Minister yesterday announced 5,000 new government roles supporting as well, places like Centrelink, etc. So be proactive if you are looking for roles, because it is going to be hard. It's a challenging time, but there are new roles coming up constantly. Now, in terms of ways to upskill yourself, etc. For example, I saw yesterday, so I can send you the link, Nishad, to add to the comments after this. But there are a lot of online courses from large universities, global universities now are opening their doors to free courses. Skilling courses, everything I saw from personal brand to coding. And I saw Yale on there, I saw Brown University on there, I saw, NCAD on there, I saw, big global name universities saying upskill for free, here you go. Otherwise, volunteering right now, there's a lot of volunteering opportunities in the community. If you want to just upskill yourself, there are a lot of people who can't go out shopping. There's a need for volunteering, even in your own small community, to deliver food to each other, for example. There's opportunity to volunteer. If one, for example, has a psychology background, to potentially volunteer at places like mental health and online. There are a lot of things you can do in the volunteer space right now to help people in many different ways that might not be a financial support. So my only suggestion is continue to just get out there. If you can't get a paid job, volunteer locally as well. I think the thing I've seen, whilst I live in a city in Melbourne, I live in a very community-based suburb, very community-based. Like our suburb has our own Facebook page. And so you'll see a lot of community-based support for small businesses. People are volunteering their time to help them out in any way they can. So my advice is think locally right now. A community-based approach is the best opportunity for you to maybe get an opportunity at all, if you can't get one in the broader public. So that's probably, they're the few things I would say right now.
Oh, that's really good. I think volunteering is something that I've not even thought about, because it's sometimes a physical activity, and people have been told not to sort of go out and do that. But I think it's a fantastic way for you to be engaged and do something meaningful, because work sometimes takes away that meaning out of our day, and you got to put that meaning back into the day, and this is one way to do that. And obviously it builds a genuine relationship with those companies or those organizations, and you never know, once everything so-called become normal, then what could that lead to? But volunteering is something that I really like that idea, of doing something more meaningful.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be face-to-face as well. It can be over the phone support. And it could be, I know some small businesses need help to re-promote themselves as online, as takeaway, for example. Maybe if you have a marketing degree or you're great at social media or something, you could actually help with marketing approach.
Can I just jump in with a question that's, I think, really relevant with what you do, Akansh and Sanya? With being interviewed online, on Zoom, what are some of the things that people do really badly, and what are some of the tips that you could give people? Because some things are really magnified, I think, around that. Nashad and I were talking yesterday about that listening online, like there's always a delay, so being intent and really listening and responding is really critical. But what would be some of the tips around that? Because that's how business is being done for the foreseeable future in recruitment. So I'd love to hear your tips.
Oh, look, we've had a few situations where, number one, the biggest problem doing a Zoom interview or a video interview is network issues. Okay, and suddenly like the video goes off or the audio goes off. So what I would recommend is, first of all, maybe just do it with your friends or family a couple of times. Stay in an area where you've got good network, good kind of, at least even if it's plain white background, that's really good. Nothing too colorful, fancy, anything, and just test it out before you jump onto the live session. If you're not used to doing video interviews, like it is, right, with everything, practice makes things better. So just practice a couple of times. Just put the video on for yourself and talk to yourself. Like do that as well. Like it really helps, and answer some of those questions, or ask yourself some questions and answer them. So network problems are probably the biggest ones. We've had to reschedule interviews a few times, Carolyn, but thankfully at the moment, with this current situation going on, everyone's quite understanding, quite cooperative, and they understand there's challenges. People are not used to, they don't have, you may have a nice home office or a nice desk to work on. Like, I see like a trillion pictures of people posting their desk workspace now, or this is my home office, and this is my cat, this is my dog, which is great. But not everyone has that flexibility. Some people might even have to, kind of try to do something in the bedroom, organize a small table and use it there, right? So just make sure that you've got good network connectivity, your background's quite okay. I mean, nothing fancy or this thing, and you should be all right there, because I think people are a lot more understanding nowadays. Even clients, everyone, they understand. So like I said, we've had to reschedule the same interview 3 times, and the client was still quite understanding. They're like, look, we understand that it's a bit challenging at the moment. Things are not going the same way, so we're more than happy to do that. So what about you, Sanaya? Anything strange, out of the ordinary that you've come across?
Oh, look, the things I've seen in some backgrounds sometimes amuse you, because people just don't realise what's behind them, or the peripheral of people walking by with different things.
I saw the one where this lady was doing an interview and her husband was walking around in his undies. So I saw that one. Yeah. Definitely don't do that. Yeah.
I think it's being more aware of your surroundings than ever before, and often it's, she probably didn't know he was going to walk by. But maybe telling everyone in the house, hey, I'm about to do an interview for an actual job, so if you can just leave me, leave the door closed for a little while. And as everyone has said, and I'm experiencing this very second, it's very hard when you've got kids in the house.
Absolutely.
Understanding. But I guess during an interview, it's just try your super best to lock yourself away in a room and tell everyone I need an hour or whatever it is. But hello, thank you for debuting. But I think more than ever, it's just being conscious and preparing. Don't think just because it's a digital interview, it's going to be any easier, because it's usually harder. So just be, over prepared, really prepared, know all your stuff about the company, the role, the people, and do as much research as possible, so that you feel confident. And the more confident and the more prepared you are, the less nervous you will find yourself. I think it's nothing new to interviewing here. It's just thinking about how to present yourself on a different platform.
Yeah,
correct.
It's a terrific idea about that practice.
Anything else you want to add before we wrap up? It's 48 minutes, and people will probably start to feel the itch that how long do I have to see my
Right.
But any parting thoughts, about this topic of what job seekers can do in this situation?
For me, I think it's really, again, I'm going to say this in every LinkedIn Live that we do, you've got to make yourself open. So I've seen so many people on LinkedIn have the barest of details on their LinkedIn profile. So you've got to make sure that if you're wanting to network and connect with people, you have to open up yourself and your experience and who you are as well. So people will more readily talk to you, or more readily accept your invitation. And again, being really mindful and empathetic of the situation that businesses are in, but being very curious about the challenges that they're facing, because your next role could come from a casual conversation around what are you up to, how are you doing, and how are you really going. So, you know, being kind of entrepreneur in your job search as well. So, and everybody's in the same boat. Ironically, I think this is a great time to really reconnect with people, because you know, everyone's concerned about everybody else. So yeah, just maintain the communication, maintain your visibility, be sincere, be empathetic to people would be my main tips around this.
Absolutely. Akansh?
I think I'll agree with Carolyn there. You know, just being visible is another thing that kind of really pops out as well, right? So I may have someone like a fantastic, great candidate on my LinkedIn network who I may have spoken to about 3 months ago. Let's say, for example, I didn't have the right role, and now I've got the perfect opportunity, but I can't remember who that person was. Right, because I can't seem to know that. On the other hand, I've got someone who is quite active on LinkedIn as well, because obviously that's the number one platform tool where you're going out to kind of, you know, network and show yourself. This person, and the best days and times. So I'll share this with you guys and everyone who's listening, because I think we've tried and tested this. We've spent thousands of dollars in our marketing activities, you know, sales navigators. We've engaged a marketing company as our partner who did that for us for about a year, and the best engagement days is Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, we've tried this, so we know this. Okay, yeah. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, best days. Now you may not know what to share on LinkedIn, right? You don't know, okay, what am I going to write? I can't do a LinkedIn video. Like, I've recently started doing LinkedIn videos as well. Honestly, I kind of almost, you know, cracked my pants first, but with practice, you get better. Okay. And now I'm quite comfortable doing LinkedIn videos, but not everyone is, for example, especially if you're a job seeker, you don't know what to talk about, you don't know what to say, things like that. But the best thing you can do is just go on to your industry news website, what's the latest things that's happening in your industry, and start sharing that on your LinkedIn. You know, people will still appreciate that. Oh, this guy is quite active. He's sharing stuff. Start liking and sharing on similar updates, but stay quite active. And minimum, I would say, if you're looking for a job actively, 2 posts a week at least. Okay, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Make sure you just go out there, look at some jobs, news, whatever like kind of attracts you, whichever is relevant to your field, or whatever you're trying to achieve, or the next opportunity you're trying to achieve. Post something about it. And people will start noticing you. So I personally have also started noticing candidates who are actively out there looking for jobs, who are quite active on LinkedIn as well. And as soon as I have an opportunity, the first people that I think about is these guys. I'm like, hang on, you know, this guy's quite active. Yeah, he's available. Whereas the other gentleman who might be the perfect fit, who I spoke to 3 months ago, now I can't even remember who that person was. So you know, that's how it is. So you've got to be on top of it. You've got to put yourself out there, and completely agree with Carolyn. You have to be active. This is the right time to do that. It may seem like it's slow, but it's an opportunity for you to more, you know, reach out to people, say how you're doing, how's things going, and just share that news, share updates. Anyone in your network shares jobs, do that. It'll, you know, show a bit of personality as well. You know. Some people will shut themselves down and be like, yep, nothing's happening, I'm not going to do anything about it. But the ones who are actually going to get to the other side or the end successfully is the ones who are actively out there and helping people out any ways they can.
Absolutely. All right, anything else, Naya, you want to add to?
Just 2 final quick points. Just flexibility, and I know we sort of talked about it multiple times today, but as the world is changing now, I feel like the type of jobs that are going to be coming up, even in the next 1 week to, you know, 8 to 10 weeks, are going to change the way that we work and the type of work we do. So I think flexibility, don't think just because you've got skills you can't do that job, or because you've got skills you won't do that job. So I think it's just about changing your mindset just a little bit. For now, at least, if you really are open to just getting a job regardless of the type of it, I think that's a key point. And then, as we sort of discussed as well, what's going to be the new normal? You know, in a few weeks from now, if things continue on this way, this is actually going to be our new normal. So things will equalize, and equilibrium will come, jobs will reopen, but they will probably look different again. So we've just got to think about shifting our minds to what a new normal will be. And it will probably, as humans, adapt pretty quickly when they have to. A new normal will come very soon, and things will equal out reasonably quickly. Might not get heaps better, but it will come around.
Excellent. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for spending an hour with me, and I'm pretty sure I'll summarize what we have discussed so far in the best of my ability, put a post up there so that people can see that. But I'm really thankful for sharing some gold nuggets with all the people who watched it or who will watch in the future. And let's keep the conversation going so that we can help as many people as out there. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a great rest of the day.
No, thanks for having us. Pleasure, Nishad, and all the best to everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers.
There you go.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.